There's nothing. This is like, just a last. I'm like way better at destroying people's lives than I am at like assembling them, you know? So I'm just gonna read a little piece. The only thing you really know about this guy and this girl is like, they're Dominicans from New Jersey, you know? Yeah, I'm like caught up in a crazy political moment right now where I'm like criticizing the current Dominican government. So the response by a lot of ultranationalists is like, you hate the Dominican Republic, which is sort of like criticizing George Bush. Well, actually people did it, right? If you criticize George Bush, a lot of people were like, you're unpatriotic, you know? But I actually like Dominicans quite a lot, you know? It's just a bad habit of birth, I think, you know? And, no, I mean it. It's like, you love your people because that's what you know, yeah? And just because you learn of their stupendous bravery by living with them. So, these guys are all Dominicans, and they're in New Jersey, and this kid is in love with this girl who gets out of a halfway home. And her and him kind of have some back and forth together, and so now we have the end of the story. Yeah? And it's like, this is me wasting all the time because my reading is like 3 minutes long. I thought it would be like, people would think I was saying something if I read for 3 minutes and ran. So I thought I would stall, you know? So, this is the second half of that story, and the story's called Nilda. She's called Nilda, he's called Junior, and he meets her when his brother, right before this guy's brother gets diagnosed with cancer, and he has this big crush on this girl, but of course she ends up getting up with his like older, much better looking brother, and so he feels all bad about it. And this is where we're at, alright? I guess 2 years passed. My brother was gone by then, and I was on my way to becoming a fucking nut. I was out of school most of the time and had no friends, and I sat inside and watched Univision or walked down to the dump and smoked. I should have been smoked shit I should have been selling until I couldn't see. Nilda didn't fare so well either. A lot of things had happened to her, though, that had nothing to do with me or my brother. She fell in love a couple more times, really bad, with this one Moreno truck driver who took her out to Manalapan and then abandoned her at the end of the summer. I had to drive over to rescue her, and the house that she was in was one of those tiny box jobs with a 50-cent lawn and no kind of charm. And she was acting like she was some Italian chick now, and offered me a basso in the car, but I put her hand on hers and told her, stop it. Back home, she fell in with some more stupid Negroes, relocated kids from the city, and they came at her with drama, and some of their girls beat her up, a brick city beatdown, and she lost the two bottom front teeth. Nilda was in and out of school, and for a while they put her on some home instruction, and then that was when she finally dropped out. My junior year, she started delivering newspapers so she could make money. And since I was spending a lot of time outside, I saw her every now and then. It broke my heart. She wasn't her lowest yet, but she was aiming there, and when we passed each other, she always smiled and said hi. She was starting to put on weight, and she cut her hair down to nothing, and her moon face was heavy and alone. And I always said, what's up? And when I had cigarettes, I gave them to her. She'd gone to my brother's funeral along with a couple of his other girls, and what a skirt she had worn. Like maybe she could still convince him of something. And she kissed my mother, but the vieja hadn't known who she was. I had to tell Mommy on the ride home, and all she could remember about her was that she was the one who smelled good. And it wasn't until my mother said it that I realized it was true. It was only one summer, and Nilda was nobody special. So what is the point of all of this? He's gone, he's gone, he's gone. I am 23 years old, and I am washing my clothes up at the mini mall on Ernston Road, and Nilda's there with me. She's folding all her shit and smiling and showing me her missing teeth and saying, "It has been a long time, hasn't it, Junior?" "Years," I say, loading my whites. Outside, the sky is clear of gulls, and down at the apartment, my mother is waiting for me with dinner. 6 months earlier, we were sitting in front of the television, and she finally said, "Well, I think I'm over it." Nilda asks, "Did you move or something?" I shake my head. "I've just been working." "God, it has been a long time," she says. She's on her clothes like magic, making everything neat. There are 4 other people at the counters, broke-ass looking motherfuckers with knee socks and croupiers hats and scars snaking up their arms, and they all seem like sleepwalkers compared to her. She shakes her head, grimacing. "Your brother," she says. "Rafa," I say. She points her finger at me like my brother always did. "I miss him sometimes," she nods. "Me too. He was a good guy." I must have had disbelief on my face because she finishes shaking out her towels and she stares straight at me. "He treated me the best." "Nilda," I say. "He used to sleep with my hair over his face. He used to say it made him feel safe." "What else can I say?" She finishes her stacking. I hold the door open to her. The locals watch us leave. We walk back through the old neighborhood, slowed down by the bulk of our clothes. London Terrace has changed now that the landfill has shut down. Kicked up rents and mad South Asian people and white folks living in the apartments, but it's our kids you see in the streets and hanging from the porches. Nilda is watching the ground as though she's afraid we might fall. My heart is beating, and I think we could do anything. We could marry. We could drive off to the West Coast. We could start all over. It's all possible, but neither of us speaks for a long time, and then the moment closes, and we're back in the world that we have always known. "Remember the day we met?" she asks. I nod. "You wanted to play baseball." "It was summer," I say. "You were wearing a tank top." "Yes," she said. "You made me put a shirt on before you let me be on your team. Do you remember that?" "I remember," I say. We never spoke again. A couple years later, I went away to college, and I don't know where the fuck she went. That's it. Thank you.